Epic Universe and you want to make the most of your day. Well, today I'm going to be sharing what not to do at Universal Epic Universe to save you time, money, and have the ultimate epic experience. Let's go. Right when you get into the park, the first thing you want to avoid is going right for the lockers. So the all-day lockers are right here at the front of the park. Now, my first time at Epic, that's what I did. I came in and I rushed right to the locker bay. And there's a problem with this for two reasons. One is that you don't actually need an all-day locker because all the rides that require you to put your bag away have free ride lockers. And number two, there are other all-day lockers stationed around the park. In front of each portal, if you do want to get an all-day locker, you can get those. And I would recommend those because those are more easily accessible than having to come to the front of the park, use these lockers. So if you do need an all-day locker, which some people do, they're $15 or they're $20 for the bigger size, then I would recommend getting them outside of the portals. I'll show you where they are too. So here's what those concierge huts look like, and there's one outside of each portal in Epic Universe. So all you do is you just head around to the back or side, and here are the lockers. If this is red, that means there's no lockers available. They're the photo validation, super easy to use. You pay right down here. Would recommend using these. You're going to be using your phone a lot during your Epic Universe day, so what you want to do, you might want to consider investing in a portable charger. These are fuel rods. You can get them on Amazon or you could just buy them here if you want, but it's a swappable power, so once it's empty, you just put it in here, it'll spit you out a new one. Or if you bring it home, you could charge it up yourself.
Another thing you'll regret early in the morning is not doing early park admission. If you watch any of my other videos, you know I stress so much how important it is, but especially for Epic Universe. And if you don't have the Express Pass, even more reason why you need to do early park admission. You can get into the park if you're staying at a Universal hotel an hour before the park opens. This is the best time to do Super Nintendo World, to get on those rides because Mario Kart and Minecart Madness are always such long waits. Now, Minecart Madness officially isn't a part of early park admission, but on some days, here's a Krystal Palace secret, some days they'll even open it early. So it's not officially a part of early park admission, but if the ride is ready, they'll open it up right when it's ready. So you might get lucky and be able to ride it during that first hour. Now, if you aren't staying at a Universal hotel and you don't have early park admission, I would recommend going right to the Isle of Berk. You can ride Hiccup's Wing Gliders, Dragon's Racer Rally, or even get in line to meet Toothless. Because Dark Universe, honestly, Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment, typically has a low wait throughout the day because they have such a great capacity. You may have heard by now that there are a lot of stairs in Epic Universe, especially in Super Nintendo World, but don't let this deter you from exploring. I've recently visited with my friend who needed an elevator, and I was honestly blown away by how well the team members treated them and how easy it was. They just brought you to the elevator. The elevators worked great. So you can avoid the stairs if you need to. So make sure, don't stop exploring just because you see stairs. Just ask a team member. They are very helpful, very kind, and they will get you what you need. The last thing you might regret here in Super Nintendo World is purchasing a power-up band. Now, wait, let me explain. So I love the power-up band, right? I think it's such a cool immersive experience you could do in Super Nintendo World. But if you're only visiting for one day and you don't think you're going to spend most of your time in Super Nintendo World, like you rather just focus on riding every ride in Epic Universe, then you might not even have time to play all the power-up games. The main part of the power-up band is to do the key challenges and unlock Bowser Jr. Showdown. So that might take a little bit of time. If you don't plan on spending your day or your morning or your night in Super Nintendo World, then the $42 power-up band might not be worth it for you.
You want to make sure to plan to meet Toothless because it'll have a long wait consistently throughout the day. Right now, for instance, it's a 105-minute wait. This morning, the park just opened 20 minutes ago, and the line is outside. It's kind of in the sun. There's a little fan, but but it's going to be hot. So if this is something you really want to do, I would recommend rope dropping it because it doesn't take Universal Express Pass either. So even if you have the Express Pass, you're still going to have to wait. Don't forget to bring a refillable water bottle because Epic Universe, one of the really good things about it, they implemented so many of these water fountains along with the Coke Freestyle machines, so you can always find a place to fill up your water bottle, even in ride queues.
You've done many things in your life, Sandra.
When you're here, you have to make sure you talk to the portraits or listen to them talk.
Welcome to Place Cachet. I am Cassandra Trelawney, Mistress of Divination. And this is Simon. Simon, why don't you sing your hello?
Celebrated legend, 4, 3, and 1.
One thing you want to make sure you avoid is low wait time chasing. So I just experienced this, right? I saw Ministry of Magic was 60-minute wait. And I was over here and I wanted to see how fast it would go back up. I saw everyone rushing over here, right? Then I heard people saying, oh, it went back up already. It's 90 minutes again. So by the time you get over here, from no matter where you are, if you're not right in front of it, the chances of the wait time going back up are very high. So I know it might seem tempting, especially for Ministry of Magic, but just go at your own pace. Do land by land. It'll save yourself a lot of time, aggravation, stress, heat. It'll be hot walking from land to land. Don't chase the wait time.
Also in the Ministry of Magic, if you want to get the Butterbeer crepe from Cafe L'air de Sirène, make sure to get it in the morning because on busy days, this crepe will sell out by the afternoon. It's a little pricey, but it comes with a drink with it and it's 2 crepes. So definitely plan to split it if you don't think you could eat 2 crepes. Something you want to avoid and that you might end up regretting is doing the single rider line for Minecart Madness. Now you might think, oh, single rider, it'll cut my wait time down. But for this ride especially, it's really tough. I've actually seen on the internet that they were clapping in line when a single rider was called because it was so rare that the single rider was called to ride.
Also kind of interesting to note that the single rider line for Minecart Madness is at capacity. If we're being totally honest, single rider line probably isn't even worth it for this ride because of how the ride vehicles are. There's only 4 people per car. So your chances of being picked for a single rider are gonna be slim. They're gonna be slow because most people have even numbers in their party. Like there's rarely parties of 3.
One huge thing I've seen about Epic Universe is the complaints about weather delays. Now, it's true. Right? There are only a few rides that are indoors at Epic Universe. So you want to avoid not having a backup plan. It comes 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. If you're visiting in the summer, it's bound to rain in Orlando. That's just how it is. So make sure you have a plan. You have somewhere to duck inside, whether that's seeing a show, whether that's going to sit and eat in a restaurant like Pizza Moon, whether that's going on Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. But just know that everyone else is going to be doing that too. So make sure you have a plan. You have an idea of what you can do if it rains.
Personally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plop a squat in Oakenstar Tavern and get a drink.
Or go on Monsters Unchained. Love that ride. Everyone's really going to go for Battle at the Ministry, especially if it has a long wait and it's going to rain for a little bit. So if you want to do that, you can definitely do that too. It would be a great time to knock it out while everything else is down for rain. Another thing you will regret at Epic Universe is not making time for the shows if you want to see them. There are 2 shows, The Untrainable Dragon in Isle of Berk and Le Cirque Arcanu in the Wizarding World. Now, I personally think The Untrainable Dragon I would do over Le Cirque Arcanu if you could only pick one. But if you're a fan of Fantastic Beasts, then Le Cirque is a must do. However, both of these shows are very popular. You're going to have to get there at least 20 minutes before the official showtime in order to get in. The first few times I went to Epic Universe, I wasn't able to see these shows because I kept missing the cutoff and I showed up too late. So make sure to put some time into your day to wait for the shows 20 minutes before and then about 20-30 minutes for the actual showtime. That's a pretty good chunk of time. So make sure that's something you guys want to do in your Epic Universe day. That brings me to my next point. Another thing thing you might regret when visiting Epic Universe is not watching the Fantastic Beasts movies ahead of your visit, because this Wizarding World land, although the ride is Harry Potter, the land itself is based on the Fantastic Beasts movie, so watching it will give you an advantage and really make you appreciate how immersive this world is. If you're running from ride to ride, you might miss out on some of the great live entertainment, especially if you don't see the shows. Because not only are there shows, but there's also street experiences, street characters. The best ones and the most popular ones are, of course, in the Isle of Berk. You could see Ruffnut, Tuffnut, Gobber, Astrid, Stormfly, insane character interactions. So make sure you're hanging out around the Isle of Berk. You can even see the little night lights because they are sure to make for an experience you won't forget. Speaking of Isle of Berk, make sure you're prepared for fire drill, because how wet you get depends on who you are riding with and against. You could get soaked. They do have people dryers outside of the ride, or you can just air dry. And you can also store your belongings in a bin on the boat too, so they don't get wet. But the tip here is, if you don't want to get too wet, just ride it at night, because like I said, it depends on who you are riding with, because the other boat can soak you. Something you might regret at Epic Universe if you're not informed on the dining options is booking a dining reservation at the Atlantic or Blue Dragon Pan Asian restaurant when you can just simply eat at one of the quick service restaurants. Now, of course, I love sit down dining. I think it's great for a nice break and air conditioning if you want a bigger meal, but also the quick service options at Universal have nice hearty meals too, especially Oakenstar Tavern, Mead Hall, and Das Steakhouse. You can find steaks, you can find barbecue, you can find huge food platters at these quick service restaurants. So make sure you look at your food options, and if you don't want to take the time to sit down at a restaurant, the quick service are of course quicker, and they still have some really great big food options as well.
Something you might regret at Epic Universe here at Frosty Moon is getting these sprinkles. Now, they looked cute, and that's why I got them, right? Because I thought it was really Instagrammable and fun and festive, but the balls and the sprinkles were so hard. They were a little hard to eat. I would get some other topping options instead, because they have some really great options.
If you got this far in the video, I appreciate you. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, but you will regret not visiting Epic Universe. If you're watching this and you're on the fence and you're like, you know what, I think I'm gonna wait until like next year or the year after that, don't wait. I think honestly, yeah, it might have some kinks. Yeah, it might have some growing pains, but it's only going to get more crowded. And it is such an amazing park. You're not going to want to miss out, especially in its opening year. It's a piece of theme park history that you will never forget.
If one thing's for sure here at Epic Universe, you absolutely need to make sure that you stay for nighttime, because the park transforms. Look at how absolutely stunning, gorgeous this park is at night. You don't want to miss it.
Also, when planning out your day, consider nighttime rides. Stardust Racers and Constellation Carousel especially are the two rides that are most popular at night because of their insane lighting effects. Stardust Racers especially. I feel like this coaster is the absolute best at night. It's so special. It's lit up. You feel like you're truly comets shooting through the sky. Now, the wait times will of course get longer at night because everyone wants to ride it, but in my opinion, it's worth it. Also, right at park close, they have a fountain show in the Cosmos Fountains right in the middle of Epic Universe. This show is a nighttime version of all of the Celestial Park shows that happen throughout the day combined. So you have Dark Universe, Super Nintendo World, How to Train Your Dragon, all themed fountain shows at night. It's really awesome. They light up the chronos to go with the music too, and it's definitely something to make sure you do at the end of the night at Epic Universe.
That does it for our day here at Epic Universe. I hope you learned a thing or two in this video. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to Krystal Palace right down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.